The blue lights exploded behind her like a bad memory she hadn't invited back. Maya Thompson's hands tightened on the steering wheel as her heart skipped, once, twice, before settling into a familiar, heavy rhythm. She checked her speed again. 35. The limit was 35. The street was quiet, lined with sleeping houses and bare winter trees. Still, the siren whooped, sharp and accusing, and she felt the old warning rise in her chest. Be careful. Be calm. Be smaller than you are. Maya pulled over slowly, signaling early, stopping beneath a flickering street lamp. She placed both hands on the wheel the way her father had taught her when she was 16. He had been calm when he taught her, too calm, the way people get when they're trying to pass down fear without naming it. Yes, sir. No sudden moves. Record if you can, but don't let them see you reach. Those lessons hummed through her bones now as two officers stepped out of their cruiser, hands already resting near their belts. License and registration, the taller one barked before she could even say hello. Of course, Maya said, her voice steady despite the tightness in her throat. They're in my wallet and glove box. May I reach for them? The shorter officer smirked, eyes scanning her face like he was searching for a reason. Just do it. Maya moved slowly, deliberately. The air felt wrong, charged, impatient. When she handed over her documents, the taller officer didn't look at them right away. He looked at her locks pulled back neatly. At the blazer she still wore from her late shift at the community legal clinic. At the blackness he had already decided meant something dangerous. Step out of the vehicle, he said. May I ask why? Maya asked quietly. His jaw tightened. Are you resisting? The word landed like a slap. No, sir, she said. Out. Now. She complied, stepping onto the cold pavement. The shorter officer circled her car, shining his flashlight inside as if contraband might leap into view. The taller one stood too close, crowding her space, his voice rising, his questions tumbling over each other. Where are you coming from? Is this your car? Why are you nervous? I'm not nervous, Maya said, even though her pulse hammered. I'm tired. I just got off work. What kind of work? The shorter officer asked, his tone dripping with suspicion. I'm a paralegal, she replied. At the Eastbrook Community Legal Clinic. That should have ended it. It didn't. Instead, something shifted. The taller officer scoffed. So you think you know the law? I know my rights, Maya said, before she could stop herself. The moment snapped. Hands grabbed her arms, rough and sudden. Her shoulders slammed against the car. Panic flared, hot and blinding. Stop, she said, louder now. I'm not resisting. You're hurting me. Quit struggling. One of them shouted, though she wasn't. A neighbor's porch light flicked on. Somewhere, a phone camera lifted. In that chaos, in that small slice of terror, something else rose in Maya, not anger, not fear, but clarity. She remembered why she did the work she did. She remembered the mothers she'd sat with, the sons she'd defended on paper because no one had defended them in the street. She remembered her father's voice, yes, but also her own. I am invoking my right to remain silent, she said clearly, forcing the words out. I do not consent to any searches. I am not resisting arrest. The officers froze for half a second, surprised. That half second mattered. The neighbor across the street stepped closer, phone held high. Hey, the neighbor called out. I'm recording. Back inside. The shorter officer snapped. I'm on my property, the neighbor replied. And I'm recording. Maya's wrists burned where? The cuffs tightened, but she kept her breathing even. She didn't fight them physically. She struck back with something stronger. Her voice, her composure, her knowledge. She repeated her name. She asked for a supervisor. She asked why she was being detained. She said it all calmly, steadily, knowing every word was being captured. At the station, hours dragged by. She sat on a hard bench, replaying the stop in her mind, wondering if she should have said less, or more. Doubt crept in, whispering that this was pointless, that nothing would change. But then a young officer she didn't recognize approached, avoiding her eyes as he uncuffed her. You're being released, he said. No charges. Am I free to go? Maya asked. He nodded. Outside, the night air felt different, cooler, wider. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from colleagues. From her boss. From her father. A video was already circulating online, the neighbor's footage clear and damning. The clinic's director called her immediately. Maya, She said, voice fierce with pride, if you want to pursue this, we'll stand with you. Maya went home and cried then, not the quiet, careful tears she was used to, but the kind that shook her shoulders and left her exhausted. In the morning, she woke up sore and scared and resolute. She filed a formal complaint. She gave a statement. She agreed to an investigation. Each step was heavy, but she took it anyway. Weeks passed. The story didn't disappear. More footage surfaced. The office's reports didn't match the video. The department announced disciplinary action. Mandatory retraining. Suspension. It wasn't everything. It wasn't justice in its fullest form. But it was something. At a community forum months later, Maya stood at a podium, hands no longer trembling. She looked out at faces, young, old, black, white, listening. I didn't strike back with my fists, she said. I struck back by standing firm in who I am. By knowing my rights. By refusing to shrink. Courage doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like calm in the face of chaos. The room was silent, then filled with applause. Driving home that night, the same streets rolled past her windows. When blue lights flashed in the distance, her heart still jumped. Trauma doesn't vanish because you win a small battle. But she sat taller now. She knew her strength. She knew that her voice, steady, informed, unyielding, could ripple outward in ways she might never fully see. And in that knowledge was a quiet, powerful truth. Standing up doesn't always mean fighting back the way they expect. Sometimes, it means refusing to be broken, and daring the world to change because you didn't.